after their run-in with the police, the society has spent the remainder of the day either at work, at homes, quietly panicking, or otherwise getting on with their lives. We pick up in the evening as they gather together at the London Esoteric Society over a nice meal prepared by Mrs. Bramley to discuss the next steps concerning book thefts, dead bodies, and other associated matters. Now, firstly, my important question is, Maximilian, are you there with them?
I think so.
Yes.
You
are the only person who saw the body. So.
Exactly, and I'm still not entirely certain on what that guy was, and there seems to be something weird going on, so I'm gonna be just listening in. And maybe answer a couple of questions if they have any.
Okay. So all 5 of you are gathered around. Servants have provided the food and quietly retreated to allow you to discuss in peace anything that needs to be discussed.
I'm sorry.
Sorry for what? For what?
If it wasn't for me, I'm sorry. It's my fault.
What's your fault? Could you be more specific?
Well, I went to the police. And then I went to report the book stolen to help you, Mr. Greaves. Mm-hmm. And then I went to the location, and then we saw the door was open, so we grabbed the policeman off the street, and then it went into chaos very quickly after that.
Well, they did have some questions, and I did have to go back to the station for a bit. It all came out well in the end. They'd said that they determined he died of natural causes, so they couldn't hold me for anything. Although I'm sure they're going to be watching closely. So it's all well in the end.
Well, I've informed a number of book dealers in the area that I usually trade with that I thought he may have also approached to try and sell the book to. Because by the sound of it, he was trying to get as many buyers as possible. I suspect he was having a number of blank copies made. He'd show everyone the original book at some point. Then, when they agreed on the sale, he'd hand them a fake. At least that's what I suspect he was doing, to try and get as much money off different people as possible. So I've sent words to the other people I deal with on just to ask them to get in touch if any of them had been approached by him as well. But in the meantime, I mean, the book itself, the copy Max got hold of, it was fake, basically a forgery of some sort. It's not a great one, but it's still a decent copy, enough to fool a passing glance if you didn't know what to look for. So I don't know. Keeper, would I know anyone in the city who could do something of that level of work? Let's say book restoration.
You know that you yourself could.
Yeah, no, mine would be much better. No one would be able to tell.
You know that there are enough people who do proper book restoration would probably be working at somewhere like a library, or like people who are professionally employed to restore books and make them in a legal sense.
Yes,
or at a bookbinders. Like there are a number of bookbinders working throughout the city. Those who do it in a less legal capacity don't tend to advertise what they are doing.
True, they don't, but would I know them from my own business?
Probably not. You'll tend to deal with smugglers and people who want to buy your books, but there are other...
fair enough.
The other people who are selling... A lot of the people who are selling these sort of books are not necessarily advertising that they are selling anything less than the legitimate article.
Exactly, yeah.
So you know people who sell books and deal books either that might be stolen, might be acquired through less than legitimate means, but whether or not they're also forging those books. you
Yeah,
don't know.
assuming
for-
there's no signature on the book to say who did it.
No, you don't sign your
No
own-
trademark stamp forged by Bob or something like that. But having said that, if I find another book made by the same person, I might be able to say, "Oh, this is probably done by the same person," but I
Yeah,
wouldn't
you might be able
necessarily
to.
know
Yeah, and
who's
you
done it.
recognise their work if they've seen it, but unless you've got an example of their work,
Yeah, I
you don't
tend
know
to
what you're
just deal
looking
with
for.
my own work. So yes, I've contacted a number of book sellers. The thing will be the most expensive thing that's missing is the Shakespeare one, I believe, isn't it?
Depends on who was buying it. The Shakespeare has more broader appeal, but to the right buyer, the other book is potentially far more valuable.
Oh, that's a very good point.
The Shakespeare one could also be very easily traced. Right.
But the copy seem suspected the copy is of the book to do with the horned man.
Yeah, I'm assuming so too, because if you copy the Shakespeare one, people would scrutinize it more, right?
True. The question will be, has he already sold the Shakespeare one? Unless the police have missed it. I mean, no offence to the police, but they don't know books very well. So it may be worth... the police would have been at the property.
Are they still there?
Well, this is the thing. It's been down as natural causes, so I suspect they won't waste time keeping someone at the door now. So it may be worth popping around, seeing...
Didn't you say you have like a friend with a morgue?
I do know someone at the morgue, but they wouldn't have the books. Just
I mean, they would have the body though, in case there's something not natural with it.
when you saw the body, was there anything unusual about it or where it was positioned in the room?
I didn't see anything. I mean,
Facing any particular object or anything like that, like a window or a bed or a bookcase or something?
I'm fairly certain that we didn't describe that. I will try to remember.
Just wondering if he had been, because you said it looked like he'd been scared to death, and
Yeah, he had that visual on his face about being,
I'm just wondering if he had been looking out a window or at something at the time.
You could make an intelligence check if you would like.
Right.
Back of what you might have seen.
Is it possible that he was doing the forgery himself?
I don't know if he had any talent at that.
I don't know.
Fair enough.
You know what you know. No further hints will be forthcoming from me.
No, I don't remember. I think he might have just stared into the room. I don't think I've seen anything specific like that.
Was the book on his person or nearby, like on a desk or bed or counter or anything, or just on the
The
floor?
book was on his desk, I think.
So yeah.
Keeper, based on what I know about this horned spirit god thing, would I be able to figure out what a person who wanted to use this book or contact the spirit would need or want to do next?
You don't know the contents of this book yet, because the copy you have is blank. So offers no hints on how to contact the Horned Man. Have you
Do I know about a...
Have you read Nameless Cults?
Probably.
As in
Like the reading.
one of the tomes that the Society had.
If it has been
So-
available to me, then possibly.
It was in a safe unless it was brought to Elsie when she was studying.
Yeah. I think... Remember to keep track of which books you have read, because some of this knowledge is specific to certain books. But
I
do you
have
know?
read the Book of Ibon, if that would help in this particular situation.
The book that Mortimer had, one of the books, I think the first one, The Worm's Mysteries, had a spell to contact the Horned Lord. I think I'll just check because I've got the spell somewhere here.
Yeah. So is this something Mortimer would have mentioned in D'Angelo's hearing?
Oh.
In which
No.
case, D'Angelo, you can give me a Cthulhu Mythos roll here, but it is
Skill.
unlikely. No, you don't know
Nope, not even close.
any of the specifics of how one would contact the Horned Man or the Horned Lord.
Okay, second question. Would I know of any occult shops? Is there an occult RS in 19th century London?
There's some bookshops that have occult books in stock. The most well-known one was Blake's Books, but that shut down, changed ownership, and it now belongs to Mortimer Davenport. If you are after occult books, there is, however, you have heard tell of an antiques dealer with a place called Unconsidered Trifles, who is also known to deal in occult matters.
Unconsidered trifles, you said?
Yeah, it's known by a man by the name of Abner Wick. And he is known to sell books of an occult nature.
Well, outside of Mr. Davenport, I know of a small shop that someone may want to go to if they wish to sell the book or learn to use it better. A Mr. Wick, Abner Wick. I don't know if you all are associates.
No, I'm not here. Not yet. Maybe. That would be an interesting place to take a look at, though. Maybe for my memoirs later. So I'd have some interest in going there. Somebody wants to keep me company. Ideally someone of more occult knowledge, if that's what we're looking for right now.
Does sound the sort of place he would go to try and sell that book. And someone who ran that shop would have an idea who would be interested in that book.
Has anyone considered going back to the house to see if anything is in a hidden space?
Oh, I have. I'm tempted to go back to the original scene to see if the police aren't there and whether it's possible just to have a final look around the place.
I thought of
I
it.
can go with
Go
you
ahead.
for that.
Okay, that sounds good.
I thought about it, but the police are no doubt thinking he'll return to the scene of his crime.
Yes, you just know someone will step out of the shadows. Probably Inspector Vaughan will say, "Yeah, here he is, Mr. Greaves, back to the scene of the crime again."
Exactly.
But having said that, you are quite an expert on books as well, so perhaps you should check this book dealer, this trader off as well.
Yeah, Unconsidered Trifles. Yeah, okay. I can do that.
I mean, if once we check the Mr. Leiter's property out, we could always head that way to join you anyway.
That sounds like a good plan.
Or the other way around, whoever finishes first.
Good. Should I join Mr. Johnson Greaves on the expedition, or would you prefer if I joined you two as you go back to investigate this gentleman's final, well, I suppose it's not his final resting place? There may be something that you all won't notice. Occult
Perhaps,
signifiers.
I think your occult knowledge might be handy in regards to Abner Wick. You might notice something the rest of us would overlook. For example, he may be more than he appears to be, or trying to trick us. So you'd probably be the best person to catch on something along those lines if he's talking nonsense about the occult.
Very well.
But the choice is yours. I mean, I think we'll all be a benefit whichever one we go for. We've all got our own talents and skills.
If your analysis is astute, I will join Mr. Johnson and Mr. Greaves. I will trust the two of you to take care of yourselves.
I mean, there shouldn't be any trouble at the house anyway. I mean, it's been a scene of a natural death. I mean, it'll be fine.
Well, they think it's a natural death, but we know it's probably different.
Yeah, chances are it's probably empty. They've probably swept it clear of clues anyway. I don't expect we'll find anything there. But, I'm just curious. I don't like leaving things like loose ends not tied off, sort of thing. So, at least we have a plan.
Yes, it sounds like you have a plan. Are there any parts of that plan you wish to execute this evening? Or does it all wait until the morning?
If it's early in the evening, we could do it today. I don't know what sort of Abnerwick's working hours are.
Mm-hmm. I agree with going to at least the house in the night.
Yeah, in case we have to go through the back door and find out.
It's still open, I assume, except
The back door is, unless the police have boarded it up or sealed it up, which they might have done.
yeah.
Because the police may have seen it, because it has been a break-in, rather than leave a property open to the public, they may have boarded up the entrance until a new owner deals with the matter. In which case, the back door would be the easiest option because it'd be off the high street. And we'll see what happens when we get there.
It is early enough in the evening that there is a chance that the antique shop might still be open. And if not, it is common for shopkeepers to sleep above their shop, so he's possibly still around.
All right, so should we take a walk, or is it close? How close is it to us?
Probably either a longish walk or a short cab ride away.
Well, let's get started then.
Yeah, let's take a cab. If he's still on, we wouldn't want to,
In opposite
Society does-
directions, one off to Bloomsbury, one off to Marylebone.
The society does have a coachman.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Before leaving, Elsie does talk to James about procuring men's clothing.
Yes. For this evening, miss?
For this evening, yes. I can borrow somebody's things. It doesn't matter if they fit well, as long as they're not too tight.
Yes, if you would give it... I think I can probably dig something out. We do have a jacket from a footman who left after an unfortunate incident. He lost an eye. I will see what I can get. No, none of Franco's things will fit. That man was a beanpole. Very tall. Here you go, miss. Be careful, whatever it is there.
Thank you, James. And I'm going to go change into it. I'm going to take all my hair, tuck it up into a cap, and just be ready to go. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, and included in the pile, if you wish to wear it, is a spare cape that Ignatius left behind.
No. I don't want to draw attention to myself.
No capes. Alright. So, with Elsie dressed in men's clothing, am I right in thinking that 3 of you are going to the bookshop? So D'Angelo, John, and Maximilian? And Mortimer and Elsie were going to the house, was that correct? Okay. So we will begin with the bookshop, as it is the nearer of the two. So you take a short cab ride over to not quite Bloomsbury, probably a bit north of Bloomsbury, where Abnerwick's shop is. It is a very small place, like the shop frontage is tiny, squeezed between two larger buildings. And there's a sign above the door, unconsidered trifles, everything you didn't know you wanted. And looking at it, you can see there is a light shining upstairs. You can see a flicker of a warm light behind curtains. And you can also see a flicker of light from the downstairs window, just for an instant. This almost red flicker of light. There for an instant, then gone.
So the shop is closed.
The shop sign does say that it is currently closed, but there is also a bell next to the door.
Yeah, I'll go up and ring the bell.
Bell echoes out. There's a long pause. You hear the sound of shuffling footsteps on the other side. Oh, does anyone know what a closed sign means? That was at night. Clunk, clunk, clunk. The door of the shop is opened, and you see a rather large man, probably in his late 40s. Looks like he was might have even been like a boxer or a fighter in his youth. Like, there's muscle there, but it's sort of faded, sagging with age, beginning to like. He's lost his fitness a little. Also wafting out as he steps out is this strong scent of like cologne, like very like excessive amount of it, really. What? Can I help you, gentlemen?
Good evening, Mr. Wick.
Yes, Abner Wick, that is I.
Yeah. I have a couple of questions I thought that might not fit in like normal day-to-day shopkeep business, but where you might be able to help, which is why we show up after closing time. We wouldn't want to disturb any customers. Do you have a moment?
Come in.
Oh, I'll follow him.
Keep it brief. I was about to have my supper.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
And he leads you into this shop, which is full of all sorts of items. You can see, leaning up, you can see that there are shelves of books, but there's also tables full of vases, like cases with watches, all manner of like antiques and also curiosities. There is what looks to be a full-size mummy case leaning up against the back wall.
Is it? Does it look like the ones that I've seen previously?
Yes.
Fairly accurate. All right.
I mean, you can make me an
Appraise?
appraise roll if you want to
Sure.
appraise his stuff.
But it seems like it.
Yeah, as far as you can tell. I mean, there's a lot of fakes floating around the market as well, so 50-50. So, gentlemen, let me pull you up a chair. Another one over there. One for you. There you go. Take a seat, gentlemen.
While he's doing that, can we look to see like that part of the shop where we saw the red flickering light to see if there's anything now that we're in that we can see?
There doesn't seem to be any light now that you are in the shop. There is no light in this room now. You can see the shop, like the shop room that you're in, seems to take up pretty much all the space it takes up all the width of the building you were looking at from outside. And you can see there is a door at the back of the room. You don't know if that leads directly outside or if it leads to some sort of back room.
Since he opened the shop door rather than the his apartment door, which would be like next to it, leading upstairs, is there an interior door?
Yeah, there's one door at the back of the room, which presumably leads either upstairs, or to some sort of back room.
Oh,
Yeah. So, other matters that
yeah. One of
what do you
them
want?
was if you also author books that you supply for your.
Oh no, I'm not a writer.
All right, good.
No, I'm just a purveyor of
Interesting
says-
content.
everything you didn't know you wanted. People come in here and they come out with a gilded sphinx. They didn't know they wanted it when they came in, but it's a fine compliment to a mahogany coffee table.
Fair. That's very, very interesting. Everything reminds me of my times in Egypt. What I wanted to ask you was about a horned man.
A horned man?
Exactly. There was this book that got lost, and somebody was trying. It lost meaning stolen.
Lost?
Like
That's
somebody
the first
stole a
I've heard of
book.
this. Yeah.
And that book showed up to be sold, and the person that did it tried to sell it to multiple people and make forgeries.
I don't know anything about that, I'm afraid.
All right. So
Sorry for
nobody
wasting your
showed
time,
up.
gentlemen.
Nobody showed
Well,
up at your end and tried to, sell your book on the horned man.
No, never heard
Or
of it
Shakespeare.
before, no. Oh, I'd give him a
Well-
nice, good Shakespeare would fetch a pretty penny, but no, I'm not really a book dealer, to be fair. I'm more of an antiques dealer. I just dabble in books on some topics, but yeah, no. Anyway,
Well,
is that everything, gentlemen?
While they're talking, I would like to check for any tells of lying, any blinking, looking in specific directions, that kind of thing.
Give me a psychology roll, please.
I got a 1.
Roll me, before we go any further, roll me 1d10 to improve your psychology as you stare at him with a critical gaze,
I am a lie
watching
detector.
his movements. The first thing you can determine is he is most definitely lying. He knows something about this. The moment that the horned man was mentioned, you essentially saw his ears prick up. Like he knows that name, and the more Maximilian was talking about their books, this is not the first time he's hearing about any of this. He knows this. He didn't seem surprised by any of it either. Not even the mention that their multiple books are in circulation. And
Mr. Wick, it would behoove you to be honest with us tonight. There have been a number of incidents associated with the people who believe in such beliefs. I would like to make sure that there are no more people harmed or issues created.
oh, don't worry. Trust that there's nothing here that you need to concern yourselves with. Everything is under control.
Well, would there be something that need to be
Exactly. Nothing to worry about. Some
Oh,
books
well.
went missing, some books were found, whatever the story is. There's nothing to worry yourselves over.
Yeah. I'm gonna turn around and find the next thing that looks like the cat statuette that I brought with me to London. There's probably one little MacGuffin that looks like it.
I mean,
Well, vaguely similar.
there's little Egyptian trinkets everywhere.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be pointing at it and like, and start talking about that the similar figurine that I brought with me to London. That it reminds me of. It's not the exact same, but it's also I think it's also one of the bust ones, right? And I'm trying to get the others time to please the room because something's clearly off. I don't know what. I'm not good at people reading, but I'm definitely trying to get him to be distracted. And even if I need to hint on the odd nature of that statuette, I don't mind. I'm trying to keep him focused on me.
Okay, make me a fast talk roll for distraction here. Essentially, you're just drowning him in word bullshit.
Well, it does not seem like it's working very well today.
No, he seems to be essentially zoning you out. Like, he doesn't seem to be paying much attention to what Maximilian is saying. He turns to the other two. Look, I don't know who you are. I don't recognize any of you gentlemen being in my shop before. And I presume from the way your friend here broached the issue, you're not associates of Charles Light.
Well, he is my predecessor.
Ah. Another librarian.
Indeed.
Why, there are a lot of you around. Well, as I don't know if you have heard, Charles Leiter is dead, and any matter of business dealings I had with him has ended with his death. Now,
So you have
don't
had
please?
business dealings with him, is that correct?
I have, in the past, purchased books from him, yes, and sold books to him. And he did try and sell me a copy of The Horned Man. Well, the book of... That's a full title. It escaped me. The Book of the Horned Man. Really, The Horned Man is a snappier title.
And where's the book now?
I do not know. I expressed some interest in buying it, but Charles, he tried to show me a copy that was fake. I told him I don't not interested in buying fakes. I don't purchase fakes. The genuine article only. I told him that he could peddle those to others if he wanted, but I had no interest in them. And then he died. And that brings us rather up to date with this story.
Well, do you have any other associates in the business who he might have tried pawning it off on?
You could try William Maltby. He'll buy anything. And what's the other fellow? It's particularly weird. Davenport books buys all sorts. Though they have quite a discerning eye, so Charles might have been wary about going there.
You have a good reason.
Yeah. Gentleman that runs it. Be wary of him.
Oh, why? Why? Any reason?
The family has some unsavory connections in the past. But yeah, presumably old history. Let's see, Maltby, Davenport. James Sinclair. You might have gone to him.
Any particular places we could find these people? I mean, should we just... They have shops or known locations to hang out in?
Maltby works out of a book dealer's a few streets away, but they'll be closed up by this time of the evening. And Sinclair does most of his dealings at his own house in North London.
Looking around, do I see anything that strikes me as a practitioner of the occult? You know, I see any jars filled with things that may be being used as in rituals or that kind of vibe.
Give me a spot hidden, please.
Of course.
There are several items here that do seem occultish. Not like jars of things, but mostly items that people who are interested in practicing the occult, say if you're running a seance or you believe you are interested in the occult, might be interested in purchasing some of the artifacts in here. Old antiquities, Egyptian things, what looks to be like probably actually at least one human skull on display here. So it's definitely a shop with interest to occult purchasers. Yes.
Are you a practitioner, Mr.?
I am merely interested in all manner of things. I am a collector. On that note, if you do happen to come across the genuine book during your whatever it is you're doing, do let me know. I would still be interested in making a purchase if it can be found.
Well, that the book does belong to the King's College Library.
Well,
So if it were to go missing, it would be a very expensive
I haven't noticed
proposition.
it was missing for months.
Hmm.
Unless anyone was foolish enough to make them aware of the fact that it was missing, it could remain missing forever without them knowing.
Oh, but they do know.
Well, perhaps it's best for them that it remains missing as far as they're concerned. Such books should perhaps not be in a university library.
We can agree on that.
There are some things, some dangerous forces in this world that are not given for men to know, and they should perhaps remain unknown. If you get my drift.
Oh, I get it. Yes.
But yes, and if any of that was in Charles's possession, well, we should hope that it hasn't fallen into the hands of the police or anything. This could end up messy indeed. Now, was there anything else, or may I return to my supper?
If you will agree to keep an eye out for any particularly unique items, I will arrange for a few books that you may find of interest to be delivered to you in a fortnight or so.
Sounds like a splendid arrangement. Well,
He's been shutting me out, right?
yes, because you were rambling on about a cat.
Perfect. That means he doesn't pay attention to what I'm doing. I would like to look around for anything that.
You look around, there's a shop full of antiquities, there's a few books on the shelf. As I said to D'Angelo, there are items here that occultists would be interested in, mostly sort of set dressing for seances and...
I don't have the
items for
knowledge
collectors.
to
No, you don't know.
sort that out. No.
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna consider buying a trinket and being like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna buy a trinket from him. Just some small knickknack, as we are there already anyway.
Unlock that hill now.
Just so that I have something to pretend to have brought with me next time I have to do my job.
Well, gentlemen, you're welcome to return, if possible, during the hours of the shop's opening.
Well, I assume that it's gonna be a more normal purchase when we meet each other next time.
Yes, well, is that everything?
I think so.
It is. Yes, thank you for your time.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
And he ushers you out the door. Click, as he locks several bolts and several locks on his door. And leaves you back out in what is now fully evening.
He was certainly lying to us, at least for a significant portion of that.
And have we walked away far enough that he's not able to hear us conversing between us?
You can do, yes.
Odd that he seems to have already known about Leiter's death. I mean, has it really made the rounds yet?
I mean, it happened, what, yesterday, I think?
But roughly, yes.
The police know since this morning. Unless he visited like yesterday at night after I was in. I guess it's gotta be him, the one that, scared him, right? He's clearly somebody that knows about weird stuff.
Was also aware of the Shakespeare book, but didn't seem particularly interested in it.
Yeah. Quite interested in the Book of the Horned Man, though.
Well, for now we should go and return and see if Mr. Davenport and Lady Smith have found anything of note.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yes. Speaking of which, we go now across the Marylebone and Charles Leiter's house. It's getting dark by the time you arrive, and you see that the front door has been nailed shut. There's a board across it that's been nailed shut. Other than that, as you look up at the house, it seems quiet except for a slight flicker of light in an upstairs window.
That's a bit strange. There shouldn't be anyone there.
It's there for an instant, then gone.
And if the front is boarded up, well, Keeper, chances are we took the Society's coach there to be less inconspicuous with Elsie dressing up as a man, basically.
You mean this perfectly ordinary young man who's travelling with you?
Of course.
I don't know where Elsie is. She's back at home like every well-behaved young woman.
It's best to avoid any questions and be discreet as we can.
I don't know what the male equivalent of Elsie is.
Elwood? Who knows?
Al. Just call me Al.
So basically we saw a flicker of light in an upstairs room.
Yes.
Are any of the windows boarded up? Or is it just the door?
Just the door. Just essentially the door. A board has just been nailed across the door and then hammered into the door where it had been broken open previously.
Well, that doesn't make any sense to safe the door because doors open inwards, don't they? So all the board is doing is stopping the door being opened out, so we could just push the door.
Yes. Turns out that whoever did this didn't really understand how doors work. So I will point out that not all doors open inwards.
But all front doors open inwards.
Do they though?
Yeah.
Mine doesn't, but then mine doesn't open to the outside, so. Wait, does mine? No, mine does open. Mine does open inwards. You're right.
It
is. That standard even back in Victorian time?
Well, this door opens inwards, and whoever has nailed it shut has done a piss poor job.
So we could just push the front door open and just duck under the plank that's blocking it. Well,
yes.
Why not? I mean,
sure. First, before even approaching, I'm going to check to see if there's anybody else on the street.
Yeah, police presence and all that.
I'm going to say for this, if there's anyone else around, give me a group look roll, just for your group of 2.
That's not very good.
It's the lowest, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm at 41.
I'm at 34. And that's an extreme success.
Nobody around. The street seems quiet.
And the windows all look like they've been undisturbed as well? The windows of the surrounding homes.
Doesn't look, you can't see anyone peeking out at you. You look like you have a moment. Nobody is watching.
All right. Yeah, we'll go in.
Let's go. I'll probably lead the way because, well, Elsie's only a young lady. Once we're in, probably push the door back again so nobody can tell.
Yeah.
Trade access.
Okay, once you're in, you can see there is a staircase leading upstairs and a door opening to rooms on the downstairs. You know from Maximilian's description of having been here before that he found the body upstairs in the office.
We wouldn't know whether that was the same room that the light came from.
You
I know it'd be
You
upstairs,
don't-
but
it was upstairs, but you don't yet know what the layout of the house is.
Is the door downstairs open or closed?
Half open.
Half open. I think Mortimer will just peek in. I'm assuming there's no lights on anywhere.
There are no lights now.
Just to see what room it is, really, without actually opening the door any further.
It would be some sort of receiving room, front room,
Parlour.
parlour, whatever you call it.
Well, I think we should look upstairs. Yep. Towards the office.
Try to
And,
find the room with the light and see if there's anybody here.
yeah, Mortimer will try to go quietly up the stairs.
And I will attempt to also
Okay.
follow behind.
Give me a stealth roll, please, both of you.
2 fails.
You go quietly upstairs.
Do we hit every squeaky step?
Yeah.
Almost tripping over your feet in the dark, like you bang your elbow on a door. It's quite hard creeping up around an unknown house in darkness.
Exactly. A bit quiet-ish.
Yeah.
But-
As you make your way to the top of the stairs, the door to the office stands open. You can see there is some light in that room coming from outside, where there's a gas lamp lit outside and a little light is shining into the office. But there appears to be no light in the room itself. There are shelves filled with books. There is a large wooden desk. There is a mirror hanging on the wall. And by the window there are probably a couple of pictures on the walls as well. And that's pretty much everything that's in the room.
Avoiding the office for the moment, are any of the other rooms on the floor doors shut?
The doors is all sort of left. There's probably a shut door on this floor, yes.
I want to try the shut door.
Looks to be a bedroom.
Okay, but it wasn't locked or anything like that?
Wasn't
Nobody
locked,
was
no.
in? Are there
It's
any
a door to a
stairs going up
bedroom.
as well?
There's probably stairs going up another floor, yes.
Do we want to check the next floor?
I'd say Keeper, do we hear anything else in the house other than ourselves?
Give me a listen roll, please.
Just to see. Success.
As you're standing here at the top of the stairs near the door to the office, looking sort of up the stairs to the next floor, you hear a thud in the room behind you, back in the office where you were just looking a moment ago.
Okay. Did Elsie hear it or just me?
No,
Elsie, you didn't
No.
hear anything.
I didn't hear anything.
Well, as soon as he hears the noise, he's going to snap around quickly to see where the noise came from.
Nothing there. Empty room.
Can't see anything that could have fallen.
There's a book on the floor that wasn't there before.
I'll sort of lean closer to Elsie and whisper and basically point out the book. That's moved.
Is there someone in the room? I'm gonna go into the room's empty. I'm gonna go in straight to the window and look at where we were standing previously before entering the house. If this seems to be the window that the light was flickering in.
This was the window that you saw brief flicker of red light through.
Well,
Red light. Okay.
Red light. Yes.
This is the room that the light was in.
we were quite lucky nobody was on the street, so what we could do quickly, put the lights on and close the curtains
I will close the curtains.
to give us enough light here to be able to see anything.
Like the gas lamps.
And what book was it? I'll just look at the book.
The book that's fallen down is Parchment Binding and Stitching for Beginners. Or something along those lines.
Amateurs works. Can I see where it fell from?
There's a gap on the bookshelf in between various other books on bookbinding where it seems to have fallen from.
It's rather strange. Something's done this, but I can't see what. Only
Is there a blanket or anything in the room?
A what, pardon?
A blanket. If there's not, I'm going to go to the bedroom and fetch a blanket.
There's none in this room, but you can go to the bedroom and fetch one. Yes.
I am going to the bedroom and fetching a blanket.
Yeah.
Is there a mirror in the bedroom as well?
There is a mirror in the bedroom as well.
I will take another blanket and drape it over the mirror, and take the first smaller of the blankets, or whatever seems appropriate for the mirror size in the office.
Yeah. As you
And cover it up.
As you go to cover it up, you see this mirror in the office is shattered. This is the shattered mirror.
Oh, it's shattered completely, not just a mark on it.
Shattered. And Elsie, you notice as you reach to hang the blanket on it, it almost looks partially melted on one corner. Like the glass has bubbled and warped, the silvering of the glass behind it tarnished and blackened.
This mirror has been damaged, but I'm going to continue to cover it up because there's been a death in the house. You've got to cover up the mirrors.
Yeah. Keeper, quick question. Mortimer actually knows how to make a magical mirror that allows him to see stuff. Does this mirror look anything similar to the ones described in what he knows how to make?
No. In the glimpse that you saw it, it was reflecting your face and the room you're standing in.
No, because the one he knows has to have gems around the outside and stuff like that,
Aside
doesn't
from
it?
the fact that it's broken and partially melted, this
It's an
looks
awful
like a
mirror.
perfectly ordinary mirror.
Which direction was it facing? Towards a window or
It was hanging by the window on the wall,
by the window?
behind the desk.
So it wouldn't be facing the window at all.
No, it'd be facing the door where you came in.
Well, that's strange. I know mirrors can do some strange things. I think that's going to be key to what's happened. Actually, I'm going to try something which is a bit strange. But you never know, weird things happen.
I'm going to start looking through every single book on every shelf, starting on one side of the room and to the other.
Give me a library use roll, please.
Well, Mortimer's going to use the mirror to look around. He's going to look in the reflection of the mirror.
You see the reflection of the room. You see Elsie poring over the books.
That was a fumble. I
You
rolled
see
a
as Elsie
99.
reaches up, the books are very high up, and as you're watching through the mirror, as you're watching Elsie move, you see this top shelf of books wobbles a little on its footing. And there's just an almighty crash as this pile of books come tumbling down on top of you. Elsie, you will take 1 point of damage from falling books. As there's now this loud sound and books scattered across the floor.
At least we're being stealthy here. Mortimer's going to search the desk in case there's a journal or diary. I mean, if he was trying to sell some things, he may have written down a list of people he was looking to sell stuff to or people to approach. And you never know, he may have... Won't think he'd be this wasn't really a business for him, so he wouldn't have like receipts and stuff like that. But he may have the journal.
Searching through the desk, there doesn't appear to be a journal in here. What you do find is a sheath of parchment papers with writing on them. Careful calligraphied writing, the same phrase over and over again. It's not. It looks like someone's trying to sort of practice. You see like children's handwriting practice sheets.
So it's like a trainee forger, basically.
Yes, over and over again, someone has written 2 houses, both alike in dignity. 2 houses, both alike in dignity. 2 houses, both alike in dignity. Over and over.
So it looks like he was one who
Not
was...
particularly consistently.
Yeah, he wasn't very good, which is probably why the book ended up blank.
And so you find that. You find a small letter, a piece of folded paper, which it says, "My most beloved Charles, I cannot wait to see you again. Meet me tonight. Please, I cannot live without you. Yours, your beloved Marigold."
Is there a date on that letter?
It is undated.
Ah. Ah, well.
And last of all, what you find is another letter. This one more official looking than the former. Dear Mr. Leiter, we were writing to say we have received the first payment you sent us. However, unless a second payment is made, we will no longer be able to maintain your acquaintance in our luxury wing, and he will have to be moved to the general ward with the rest of our patients. And the letter heading at the top of this is from Albrook Sanatorium. It's a little more wordy than my version. I did not write it down at all. Imagine my version as channeled through Victoriana wordiness.
Did he mention the name of the patient in that letter?
As you flick through, there is mention of a name. Yeah.
Not Bidwell, is it?
No, Cecil Hunter.
It's rather strange. I don't know of any links between this. Looks like he knew someone in Albrook.
What's the significance of Albrook?
A sanatorium where a lot of people who've dabbled with the occult who've gone insane have ended up at. It's also where...
Can you lift the bookcase, please? I'm kind of stuck.
I forgot, sorry, I was distracted by books. I'll help shift the bookcase off her.
You shift the bookcase off her and move some of this pile of books on a variety of topics. A lot of them do, however, seem to be about bookbinding and the history of books themselves. There are several on sort of medieval and Renaissance literature.
Anything valuable? I think he probably would have sold anything valuable, to be fair.
Nothing that looks hugely valuable. Like most, stuff, if you hold them all together, you'd get, collectively, I mean, they're nice books, they're worth a decent amount, but...
Yeah, there's nothing that stands out as being a collector's piece or anything like that. He would have sold that.
Not on that shelf, at least.
Can I have a search around to see if there's like a loose floorboard or a hidden compartment in the room?
Yeah, make me a spot hidden, please. See if
If there's something deliberately hidden away somewhere.
Anything hidden.
That's a hard success.
Was it behind the bookcase that fell on me?
Yes, underneath this bookcase, it seems quite unstable because someone's clearly moved it back and forth from the wall and put it back in a less than stable position. Tucked behind that bookcase, sort of behind the edge of the skirting, wrapped up in like oilcloth paper and bound up in string, is a large bundle of banknotes.
Well, that's interesting. That's something. You seem to have some money.
Maybe. Unless this was stolen. Considering he's trying to sell fabricated, falsified books.
I don't think he was trying to get money for costs for someone. Cover their costs and a fee, stuff like that, and to keep this place. I'd be interested to see what link he's got with this Cecil Hunter. I don't know of this person at all. Keeper, I've not heard of Cecil Hunter, have I? Or
No, what do you get on that spot and hidden as you're looking around the room?
that was a hard. Yeah.
Normally it wouldn't have caught your eye. You had been reading that letter just a moment ago, and as you're looking around, as you glance up from the banknotes, you catch the name Cecil Hunter signed at the corner of one of the pictures hanging on the wall.
Oh, that's interesting. So, is the name in the letter Cecil Hunter as well? And
Yes.
was it addressed to Cecil or
No, it was regarding Cecil Hunter.
regards?
It was addressed to Charles Leiter, and it was regarding his acquaintance Cecil Hunter, if he had been paying.
I'm going to put those books back and start looking through one of the other bookshelves.
Okay, as you look through the other bookshelf, again, these books, none of them seem occult in nature, none of them spring out to you as strange. They're on varied topics. History of art, history of language, all sorts of things.
All right.
Very interesting looking books. But nothing that weird.
All right. I will again, following suit. I'll check like baseboards that are visible, under the desk. Maybe check the drawers in the desk to see if there's a false bottom.
Give me a spot hidden. See if there's anything else lurking around.
No, that's you know what? I'm gonna spend that 2 luck and get an actual success on that.
You don't find any more hidden stashes of money. There are no secret bottoms to the drawers. However, you do find what looks to be one of these very newfangled things that are just taking off in the city. A paper book of matches. Printed with the name of the Pacific Club.
Oh, I found
Fallen
some
down
matches.
between the floorboards a little.
All right. I found some matches, and I'll pocket them. I don't think there's anything in here. We should probably check some of the other rooms, because what if he hid them elsewhere? This is his office. You don't want things in your office people are going to go look in. You're muted.
Just as well because I was coughing. We could, I'd say search this floor. If we don't find anything on this floor, then I don't think we'll find anything. It'd be best to leave as quickly as we
Unless
can.
it's upstairs.
But
Do you want to look this floor and I'll look upstairs?
can do. We'll do it quickly. Keeper, is there like a bathroom on this floor? Like just it probably would be near the bedroom or washing facilities for someone.
There's definitely a basin and a jug. Please wait as I just consider the history of the indoor toilet.
Oh, I don't think they had indoor toilets at that
Yes,
point.
I don't think there would be a
I don't think he would have-
bathroom per se. There's a bathtub in a room probably, and a
I was just
basin.
thinking somewhere to wash, basically.
Yeah, like a wash basin. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe one of those. Yeah.
Because he'd probably have dust and powder, I think it is, because it didn't use deodorants and stuff in those days. They used to use powder.
Yeah, there's
Much
probably
like
some powder.
talc.
Yes.
I'm just paranoid about the fact that the book fell from somewhere and we couldn't see anyone, and the fact there was a light in that room. So once we're out of the room, I'm going to basically take a handful of the dust and powder and blow it into the room just to see if it sticks to anything. Yes.
Powder talc drifts through the room and drifts down onto the floor, the desk, a few other surfaces. But there's no sign of any invisible people highlighted by dust.
That's good. I had to check.
But of course, this is not the specialty invisibility dust. This is the off-brand talc version. So
Oh, this is, yeah.
No guarantees.
Exactly. I knew I should have brought that with me. You never know when you may need it. Okay. I'll basically search whatever rooms are on this floor, which will probably be like a bedroom and, well, it's probably a small property if I recall.
Okay, maybe 1 or 2 bedrooms. I'll go upstairs and check whatever's upstairs. It's the attic or just another set of rooms.
It looks to be another set of rooms, much less used. Both of
Is it
you,
dusty?
give me a spot hidden, please. Yes, it is dusty upstairs in the attic. Most of the rooms look to be shuttered. There's sheets over the furniture.
That's both of us got hard successes on that.
Okay. So Mortimer, searching round, you can see that there's a bedroom, there's wardrobes with what looks to be Charles's clothes. I mean, they're smart, they're fairly boring. Librarian-like.
There's no business cards or anything like that linking him to anyone, or
There, what do you get a hard spot hidden? There is a business card for an antique shop called Unconsidered Trifles. And sat on the bedside table is sort of, not as though it's been placed there, as though someone shoved it there sort of in lieu of a better place to put it, is a rough scrap of like very cheap like newsprint paper in which someone has scrawled on top, "Pay up or else." Like very like crude scrawling. It's kind of been half balled up and just shoved out the way, like left there.
slightly off topic now. Would Mortimer have any idea what could have melted that mirror earlier with Mythos, perhaps? Something. What could have caused that?
You can give me a Cthulhu Mythos roll, please. And
I'd probably have to roll
Elsie
really
in the
well.
attic.
Yeah, it's just afterwards who's left. That's a fail. He's
You don't
no
know
idea.
about. You don't know. Elsie? Going upstairs, most of the rooms seem to be disused. There is one room that is set up as a maid's room. It doesn't look like it's been slept in for a while. Doesn't look like there's been anyone doing much cleaning here either.
Okay,
Amidst all the dust, however, you do see tracks of muddy footprints.
muddy.
They start off muddy and they get less sort of muddy as they go. And they seem to originate in one of the upstairs windows at the back of the house, where the latch is broken. Looking out, you can see a drain pipe leading down the side of the house.
Were the steps coming? They were coming from the window into
From
the
the
house?
window. So by the time they get to the top of the attic stairs, they've faded and no longer tracking any dirt in.
Okay, but that was it for footsteps in the dust.
Yes, just that track of muddy footprints coming from the window.
I will head back downstairs. Dr. Davenport, it seems that somebody used the window up here to break in.
Could have been the person who we saw the light of earlier. We weren't as quiet as we could have hoped coming in, so they must have fled the scene.
Possible, but I only see footsteps coming from the window, not to the window. It's all over with dust up there.
Was
If you want to
anything
examine the footprints in more detail, you can give me a track roll if you want to delve into your
Sure.
footprint expertise.
That's a fail.
Yeah, it's
did they look like booted feet or bare feet?
There was
give me a
mud.
track roll if you want.
Well, if Elsie points them out to me, I'll have a look at them. But, there's no way I could use medicine to see whether it's a
No.
boot or foot.
No, that's not a medicine roll. You can't make everything a medicine roll.
Oh,
I'd like to medically examine this book.
yes, I'll do an
How wet
autopsy on
were
it.
the footprints?
The mud was dry.
The mud was dry completely?
Yeah, so essentially it looks like from the window where the latch has been snapped, that there's sort of dried mud that's been tracked along the floorboards. As though someone with muddy feet has come in, and the mud has been sort of wiped off their feet as they walked. Whether they are still in the house, whether they left but their feet were no longer muddy, you don't know.
Well, the mud's dry, so it's probably a few days old.
It's possible.
But that's all I found up here. Maybe downstairs then.
Yeah, let's check the rest of the place. I'm just wondering if someone's still here. That's what I'm concerned about.
Well, nobody's here on these floors as far as I can tell. So
Good.
the only place they could be is downstairs, but they might have slipped out the back or out the front while we were up here.
Well, as you are searching around, you don't see any sign of anyone else in the house. The house seems empty. Doesn't look like there's anyone else here. But as you're sort of reaching the end of your search around the house, you hear a noise from downstairs. Doors open. Someone's already in here. We should be quiet. Of course we should be quiet. See anyone? I need a stealth roll from Mortimer and Elsie. Don't see anyone. Where are you currently? He's sort of
We
heading
were on
back down to the
the
main hall.
we were on the floor above, heading down.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're on the landing near the stairs.
Yeah. As you try to look back out, Elsie, your knee knocks against something. There's a slight
Just
noise
a
of something falling.
squeaky floorboard, the same one we caught on the way in.
Someone's up there. Who's there? Show yourselves. Not gonna show themselves. What are you guys shouting that for? Nothing's gonna run away, you idiot. Alright. Hello? I'm going up. You hear the sound of heavy footsteps on the stairs. And you can
Do we see?
see someone holding a lantern below. And a figure coming up. You see a shadow coming up the stairs. A tall, broad-shouldered man. He comes up around the corner of the stairs, peering in the darkness.
Does he look like a policeman?
Not in the slightest. He's wearing slightly shabby clothes, quite dark clothes. Definitely does not look like a policeman. You see as he's reaching into his pockets and slips like a pair of knuckle dusters onto his hands. He looks around.
I'm ducking down below eye level.
He moves up, looks to where like Elsie is,
Can I?
and looks right past her. And he steps past her into the study and starts rummaging through drawers.
I don't think we actually picked up the money, or did we?
You did.
I didn't say I picked it up.
Oh.
I mean,
you
it's your
did. You
choice.
looked at it.
Would you have picked up the money, or have you just left it there where you found it?
I have no idea, is the honest thing, because Mortimer's not.
You
Not
found a bundle of
Franco.
money? What would you have done? What would Mortimer have done with it?
Exactly. I don't think it would have been. He would have probably grabbed it before we left the house completely, but I don't think he would have picked it up there and then.
Okay, then the money is... Found it! Someone's been in here. Not done a very good job of looking. Alright, let's get out of here. This place gives me the... I swear this place is so haunted. Alright. Can we go, Henry? Don't! Ah. How many times? No names. No names. Right, let's go. You hear the sound of feet descending the stairs. You see the big man tucking the bundle of money into his pocket.
I'm assuming they're both leaving.
And they're both leaving. Do you wish
What?
to linger around longer?
Just seeing what Mortress had put in chat. If I had Franco's stealth, I would have done that. But there's no way I could hide. I've just been lucky so far. Well, I don't think we're going to find anything else here. We may as well head back and meet up with the others.
Well, we didn't check the ground floor.
That's true. We could give it a quick once over to give the two gentlemen, using that term there quite loosely there, time to leave the area. And then head out.
Yeah.
You find nothing of interest on the ground floor.
Not even a wheel of cheese.
There's some cheese, yeah. Not a full wheel, just a wedge, and it's gone a bit mouldy.
No, thank you.
Take the mouldy cheese if you would like.
No, thanks. No.
So, without any mouldy cheese, you step out into the night. Is there anything you do wish to take with you from the house?
I'm trying to think now. Well, actually, the book that had fallen on the floor.
Yeah, okay.
I'll take the book that has fallen on the floor and the letters we found. I think the love letter type thing.
Yeah,
the
the
letters.
love letter and the letter from Albrook.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything else of interest that we found. I haven't said that. Is there anything behind the mirror? On the back of the mirror?
Nothing behind the mirror. There's a wall.
You always have to check, because the one time you don't, there will be something there. But, no, I think that's it, really.
Okay, in which case,
I will have a final listen to see if there's anything creeping around that's invisible that we haven't found out.
give me a listen check.
Let's see, I'll probably fail this.
Well,
Yeah, plain success. Do you hear anything in the house?
As you close the door behind you, as you step out in the street, you didn't hear any movement before then. As you close the door, you hear the slight whisper in the house behind you.
I didn't hear it. I didn't roll.
Give me a sanity check, please, Mortimer.
It's going to be a fail. I haven't said that. Oh, there's sanity. There's not much left of it. Nah, it's a fail.
You lose 1 point of sanity. You know there is something in that house. You couldn't see it. You don't know what it is. But there
Could be a
was
ghost.
something in that house. And with that
I
knowledge...
don't recognise the voice, do I?
No. And with that knowledge chilling within you, as you set out back to the society. That is where we're going to go to break. See you back in 10 minutes. And we are back as John, D'Angelo, and Maximilian return from their visit to Unconsidered Trifles, Abner Wick's antique shop, and Elsie and Mortimer return from Charles Leiter's house, each having new knowledge and new lovely experiences. By now it's probably late in the evening, but you can gather in the parlour around either your choice of tea or something stronger, depending on how the evening's been treating you.
I mean, I'm not going to say no to something stronger.
I think I will take something stronger. I've got a knot on my head.
It's true.
What happened?
A bookshelf fell on me.
Oh, yeah, that's inconvenient.
Yeah, books can be dangerous for a number of reasons.
At least it wasn't ladder.
But, I think I'll just have a cup of tea, something nice and warming. Well, we didn't find a great deal of interest there. It looked like the place had been searched anyhow. When we arrived, it looked like someone else was in the room upstairs already before we arrived.
It's a flickering light.
Well, a red light upstairs in the upstairs room, which was a bit strange. It's probably the office, I don't know. But when we went to investigate... I think the house is haunted, by the way.
Why would you say that?
Strange things were happening in the house. After we had searched the office, we found a number of bits. I think Elsie found a book of matches.
In the office, and here, and I passed them the book of matches.
The Pacific Club ones, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I found a business card to do with unconsidered trifles. A couple of letters here to do with a love interest as such and something about someone in Albrook Asylum. And as a matter of, I think Cecil Hunter was mentioned a few times, the name. I'm not familiar with it, but I think that person's a patient at Albrook and is somehow tied with this gentleman. It seemed he was been paying money to a number of people. He seemed to owe a lot of money out to various people. Whilst we were there, a couple of, we'll say, gentlemen arrived, debt collectors, that sort of thing. And we did actually find, well, I say we, Elsie managed to find and recover the money that was hidden behind a bookcase after she removed the bookcase from the wall.
You're the one who saw it, though. I
That's
was
true.
under the books.
It was a team effort. But we didn't take it with us at the time, was considering it, but we wanted to search the rest of the house, and the two gentlemen, it seemed they were after the money. Looks like, as I said, they're debt collectors after the money. Max, do you remember that mirror in the office? Was it shattered when you... There's a mirror in the office when we were...
I don't think so.
It was seemed to be shattered as against the wall.
It was cracked, yeah. When I say shattered, I mean as in like it's got a spider web of cracks across it.
Okay,
And it was cracked when you saw it, yes.
It seemed to have a bit of a melt on it. It seemed to have melted around a bit of an edge as well, which was a bit strange. Do you remember if it was melted when you saw it?
I don't think so.
You don't
I would
recall.
have.
You were a little distracted by the dead body.
That's true. That's true.
You
I
didn't ever examine the mirror in any further detail.
No, I didn't notice the mirror being anything odd.
Yes.
It might have been. I might have just, overlooked it. In terms of the body, it might not have been broken yet, and therefore not be something I would,
It was just strange because there's stories about mirrors and strange things people can do with them with the occult and that. Well, I don't know a great deal about it myself, but there are strange things that mirrors can be involved with and strange belief systems. But it was strange that it was shattered and partially melted when we saw it. Also, I mentioned, I believe the house was haunted. Whilst we were in the property, we had searched the room, the office hours, and as we were leaving to search the house, we thought we'd listen carefully to see if there was anyone else in the property. And whilst we were doing that, a book fell off the bookcase in the room
That
we
was
had just
before
searched.
we searched the office.
We had just searched the office and the book.
No, it was before. It was what made us search the office. It was, we were deciding where to start for the search, and then the book fell.
And the
then,
book fell, and I picked up the book anyway. This is it. It's just on book binding. There's nobody in that room at all. I used dusting powder to make sure before we left, because I just felt there was someone there. I was convinced there's someone in that room, so that I couldn't see, perhaps hidden in the shadows or something like that. So I used dusting powder through the room just to cover all the surfaces, and didn't find anything new. So there wasn't anyone there. But the book in question is this book. Keeper, can I examine this book a bit more carefully, open it up, and...
Yes, it's the book on bookbinding.
Is it what it says on the cover?
It is indeed what it claims to be on the cover. It is a book about bookbinding.
That's what I wanted to check. That's nobody had just changed the cover of it.
No, it is what it claims to be.
It's just a bit strange that this book was the one that was knocked into the middle of the room on the floor.
are there any blank pages?
There's probably a blank page at the beginning, sort of like a slightly tissuey page to protect the following pages of the book.
We
No
did.
blank pages at the end or anything?
No.
Yeah.
I'm
We
going
did.
to take one of those matches. I'm going to slide it with the book. I'm going to hold it behind the page, see if I'm not going to try to catch it on fire. I'm going to see if maybe it was a lemon juice type invisible writing on it.
Okay, I'm going to just say give me a flat dexterity roll here, just because with the amount of fun, it's only if there's a fumble.
If it's a fumble, it goes with fire.
Yeah, yeah.
Success!
Yeah, you hand, hold the match behind the book. No. Doesn't seem to be any hidden writing. As she does so, Maximilian, you see that the box of matches are a box of the new batch of Pacific Club matches that they like a little matchbook for lighting your pipe and cigar that the club has started doing recently.
But besides that, as we were leaving the property, I heard a voice behind me. In the property we had just searched, we knew it was empty. We had searched the place top to bottom. But then again, it could have just been the wind. I could have imagined it, but it seemed a bit strange.
Yeah, Mortimer, when you said you got to the place, you saw like a reddish light. I'll describe what I saw at Unconsidered Trifles, the red light that we saw when we first approached the shop, and ask if that's the same that you saw.
His description of it, a brief flickering reddish glow. It does sound like the same thing you saw at Leiter's house, yes.
Could it have been at the same time?
Neither of you, I don't think, took note of the exact time. So you
No.
don't know.
No, but
It was
Maybe,
very closely
maybe not.
similar.
Yeah.
Like we both saw it when we arrived. We had like roughly 10 minutes to the shop. There can't have been more than a quarter hour and like difference between the two sightings, right? So something like that. I'm not sure if it's the same light or just similar, but
It might have just been similar. Did the shop have a mirror?
there was a whole lot of stuff there. Probably also a mirror or two. What I'm thinking about with with the guy is that I'm fairly certain that he had something to do with it because he already knew. He already knew that the guy that he was dead. That there was, and we had the whole thing happened yesterday. We had one night. This morning, John Greaves ended up in police custody, and within that time frame, he already knew what happened before we reached him. We didn't tell him anything. That's odd.
Yeah, it is. And D'Angelo caught the fact that he's not completely upfront with us.
Yeah,
when we were talking to him.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't notice anything, but
He was certainly lying. I cannot say for sure that he knew where the book was, but he was definitely more aware than he was willing to let us know. He was also pretty sure that nothing bad would befall him, even after I alluded to a potential disaster at having the book. I'm a bit concerned that he is a hobbyist of the occult and has found himself involved in something he is not ready to understand. Other than that, I cannot say for sure whether or not he knows about the book or if he knew anything about what you encountered.
Yeah, a lot of this doesn't seem to make sense. We're still missing the Shakespeare stuff as well, which would be normally the most valuable one.
Yeah, you didn't.
Well, to the right people.
when you found money, maybe he sold that one off already.
He
But
might
who-
have sold that off. He did have. It seemed like it was quite a bit of money that he had left hidden behind the bookcase that fell on me.
You didn't see anything that any trace that he might have had the Shakespeare book.
Not on
Nope.
any of the shelves that I looked in.
I do think he probably tried to start doing the forgery work himself, but gave up. His writing wasn't that good. So I suspect he just stuck with the binding, so it doesn't look as if he's employed someone else to do that work. I don't think we saw anything tool-wise or anything on his desk to do with binding books. Did we keep it?
Probably during the search of the rest of the house, yes. That was what I forgot to mention. You would have found bookbinding. There was something that was
Bits and
very
pieces.
critical. In the downstairs of the house, as you were finally looking around, you did find bookbinding tools. Stacks of parchment, leather, little glue, little pots of glue, and the little tools for bookbinding in the room sort of next to the kitchen. Yes.
So it does look as if he did the big books himself, but he couldn't actually master the writing side of it, so hence the reason the book was blank. Well, then again, he hadn't reached that stage of it yet.
Is it possible he could have left the book somewhere else?
You did not see any ink or any calligraphy supplies with his bookbinding stuff. It was all for the making of books, not for the writing of books.
Unless he was planning to employ someone else to do the writing. Oh, we didn't find anything that tied in with anyone. He did have a card to do with unconsidered trifles, but whether he would have... I wouldn't know whether he'd do that sort of work.
There are too many questions for this particular
There are. We'll probably have to...
situation.
Keeper. Would Cecil Hunter be a name that would have come up in any of my working in looking through John or
Charles?
Charles's papers at the library?
Just give me a look roll. See if it's a name you've come across looking through any of that. Not a name that rings a bell. Doesn't seem to be anyone he did regular official business with, and nobody
Can I-
who's on the library's.
But what if I spent 4 luck?
You can do. However,
Okay.
then.
Okay,
I'm
let's
going to say the
do.
rule is you can spend luck on luck rolls. However, it's never going to make you succeed the luck roll.
Oh well, all right then.
So you're endlessly chasing it downwards until you reach 0.
Well, it was worth a shot.
So, should we reconvene in the morning?
Let's do that.
I think we'll have to. There's not much we can do tonight unless. No, I don't. I don't think we should try to break into the considered trifles. Although it does seem he's tied in with stuff that it's a bit more than he let everyone believe. I'm just not sure what other routes we can take on this. I mean, there's Albrook. We could send word there, or
Yeah, I think that's probably the best idea before we go and break and enter.
yeah, I don't think we need to break and enter. But do you think he had the copy of the book at the
Potentially.
Unconsidered Trifles?
What I'm guessing, just on probably prejudice, I don't know. That he knew that the guy was dead, so he's most likely the murderer. Scared him to death somehow with some weird thing.
There's loads of ways to scare people to death. I mean, who knows? Whatever.
I'm just taking this at a possibility that I don't understand. And then, if he does that, then obviously he would take the book, and he would not say that he has it, because why would you take a book with that does not make sense. So he probably kept it somewhere.
Well, where would he have kept it then? If it's not at his home?
I mean, oh no, I'm thinking of the guy that holds the
Mr. Wick?
Mr. Wick. That's his name exactly. I'm thinking of Mr. Wick. I mean, we've just been in the store downstairs. We've not been above in his chambers. We've not been in the back room. I'm just glad that he's not named John. That would get confusing really fast.
I would not mind looking into him more, but we need to be careful.
Yeah.
It appears you all have already had a bit of a run-in with the law. It would not be wise for us to continue.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether we're going to manage to recover this book. It seems to have lost, or
It's possible that, well, Keeper, would I know anything about mirrors mirrors? What might have come through them to kill a person, or if specifically scrying, if that's a possible thing to know.
Make me a Cthulhu Mythos roll, please.
That's a fail.
No, you don't know anything specifically about this topic. It's not something that's really cropped up that much.
Keeper, would there have been any additional lockboxes or hiding places that Charles could have kept the book at the library that we wouldn't have looked at?
Not really, because he might have kept something in his office at work. However, that is now your office at work.
Right.
And as far as you are aware, there are no Eldritch tomes hidden there. You have not noticed any hidden lockboxes or extra
Oh.
safes in your office unless they're very well hidden.
And
However, if you'd hidden it in the library as a whole, the place is massive. You could hide
mhm.
like 20 books in there and nobody would notice because it's a library.
The best place to hide books is amongst other books. Well, maybe next time when I go to work, I will search my office more thoroughly.
It might be worth asking if anyone knows of Cecil Hunter.
Okay, yeah, it's a good point.
Someone may have known of a personal connection. Keeper, did the letter...
Yes?
Oh, sorry. Did the letter imply that Cecil was like a child, or how old was?
The letter didn't give any details. It just generally it implied that Charles was financially responsible for the quality of Cecil's accommodation.
How old was Charles Leiter? I'm just wondering how old a child could have been, basically.
Charles was probably in his 30s.
So if it was a child, it'd have to be very young, but unlikely to be Albrook, but you never know.
Or
Let's see.
teen. Yes.
Would you mind making me an art roll, please?
Art?
Yes.
Oil or watercolor?
Either, whichever you have the most points in. Most appropriate.
That would be a success, please. Actually, you know what? I'll spend the 2 points to get the hard success.
As they're having this conversation, you realise you have heard of Cecil Hunter.
Mhm.
He is an artist. He does watercolour paintings, primarily of countryside scenes. And Miles had a couple of examples of his work he was showing you when discussing the difference between watercolours and oils.
Mhm.
The way Miles spoke of him made it sound like he vaguely knew him or knew of him.
Well, Mr. Hunter, Cecil Hunter was an artist. He did watercolor art mostly, but Mr. Shipley's told me a little of him, and it seems like Mr. Shipley knows him maybe just the smallest amount.
I'm wondering how he ended up in Albrook. Do you think Mr. Shipley has any idea then, or?
We can ask him. It's a bit late tonight, but
Yes.
when I go for my scheduled class with him tomorrow, I'll ask him.
Yeah, I don't know what routes we can chase up on this, really.
Well, if nobody has any plans they plan to pursue this evening, shall we move on? Unless anyone wants to do any breaking and entering or anything suspicious in the night, we shall move on. And you return to your various houses or to your bed upstairs in the society and get a good night's rest. And as the next morning rolls around, Elsie has her painting lesson, Mortimer has his shop, John has his work. Does anyone else have anything they would wish to be doing the next day, or any other avenues of investigation you wish to pursue the next day?
I think we have
Angela's writing.
So, as the sun rises on Friday, the 21st of September, 1894, very different. Saying 18 at the start of the year is so hard, because 19 is like a default year for dates to start with, and 18 is not. Very difficult. In 1894, Mortimer, you find a letter waiting on your doorstep, or rather a brief note reply from two letters actually. One is from Mr. William Maltby, and it states that yes, he did know a Charles Leiter. He bought a very nice Shakespeare folio off him not long ago. And the second is from a James Sinclair, stating that yes, he knew Charles Leiter. Man was trying to sell him an interesting book on English witchcraft not too long ago.
So it doesn't say anything that Mr. Sinclair bought the book, other than he was trying to sell
he
them
bought
all.
it, no.
But the other one said referring to he did buy works of Shakespeare or something like that. Okay, that's okay. Information for me.
So, yes, as you proceed with your days, we'll pick up with Elsie's painting lesson. And if anyone else has any plans, just let me know and we can cover those. Elsie heads over to Miles' studio. Miss Smith, now, are you early or am I late?
I think we are both just on time.
Not quite. Wasn't expecting you for another. I have got my hours mixed up again. No, that's fine. Come here.
Are you well?
Bad dreams.
Again?
There's snakes in there. I will not bother you with it. I will not wish it on another. And probably,
I actually was having a conversation yesterday with a few friends, and Cecil Hunter came up. Do you know anything new about
poor
him?
fellow. You heard
Poor
about what
fellow.
happened to him?
No, you never. You mentioned him about his artwork, but never about him himself.
Oh yeah, no. It only been what, a couple of weeks ago? Yeah, a couple of weeks ago. About 2 weeks back, I think, more or less. I went to call on him. He's a friend of a friend. I was asking actually to borrow. I lent him a book on watercolorist. Anyway, I went to get a book back off him and found out poor fella's been carted off to Elbrook, the sanatorium place down in I think it's somewhere near Brighton, somewhere near the sea. Anyway, yeah, seems he went quite mad.
Any idea why?
I mean, I didn't delve too far into it. It was not something I wanted to. I obviously didn't go and never wished to go within 10 miles of a sanatorium. Thank you very much. Yeah,
I
I
understand.
went to one once to visit, and I'm always afraid that they'll never let me out again. You know? Yeah, he'd been acting odd for a while, whispering on about something or other, but I'd only seen him, the week before that. We went out for drinks. He'd come into some money recently, and I as an artist, when you're in money, you buy your friends drinks, and when you have no money, your friends buy you drinks. And he had the money, so we went for drinks. He was a little cagey about what it was doing, but I assumed. Well, he got thrown out of art school for subject matter, so I assume that he's painting, let's say, unsuitable paintings for you. I was going to say you probably know the sort of books, but I really hope you don't know the sort of books. They're not the sort of books a young lady should be looking at.
Things of the obscene.
Yes. Very. So I assume he was doing that kind of work again, and thus doesn't want to of details. I mean, there's more money for watercolors in that. Watercolors and printings. Oil paints take too long. But luckily, it's more market for portraiture in oil paints. And off topic. Where was I? Yes.
He had come into money. He was buying you drinks. You assumed he was making obscene art again, but you were trying to tell me what you might have thought he was going into the sanatorium for.
Well, I asked a friend, and they just said that he'd gone utterly mad, starting seeing things that weren't there, hearing noises, seeing strange lights. Was convinced that he was haunted or being followed by something. I don't know. I mean, it sounds like madness, but maybe it wasn't madness. I mean, sometimes perhaps he was. Perhaps he wasn't seeing things that weren't there. Perhaps he was seeing things that just weren't there. Which is all the more horrifying.
Yes. All right. Do you know who he might have been in maybe a cousin or a brother or anyone?
Yeah, I got all this from his landlady. He's got rooms 3 streets over, near the pub with a very creaky. Oh, you probably don't. Red Lion. No. Yes, the Red Lion. That's what it's called. He's got rooms over near the Red Lion, about 3 doors down. I don't know if his landlady's rented out the room again yet or not.
Well, I hope that he gains his mind again soon.
So do I. Yes. Well, enough of that. We should be on with the lesson. Where were we at? Yeah, still life, wasn't it? We still life?
Yes.
Yes.
We had been working on different what was it? Different lighting for the still life?
Shadows and lighting. Now, shadows are the most important thing for creating depth in a scene. And as he sort of begins and you start your practice, give me an oil painting roll. Let's see how the lesson goes.
That's a fail.
It's not one of your better days. You've had things on your mind. Whilst Elsie spent her morning at the painting lesson, did anyone else have anything they wish to do that morning that may be pertinent to the ongoing investigation or occult matters as a whole?
Grabbing a train towards Albrook.
Oh, you're heading down to Albrook.
I'll look around in my office a bit more thoroughly this time.
Okay, give me a spot hidden for your office. Now, doesn't seem to be anything in your office that you didn't see before. Okay, so Maximilian is heading to Albrook.
There's somebody still unaccounted for that would like to come
Are
with
you
me?
going alone, was my question, or is anyone coming with you?
Well,
D'Angelo will go with him. Why not?
it's not your first trip there. You know the area well.
Yes, you've been Yes, you head down to Brighton together. D'Angelo and Maximilian take the train down, get the morning train, and arrive a couple of hours later down in Brighton. You get a cab from the station to head up to the outskirts where the sanatorium is.
Quite beautiful here.
D'Angelo, as you
It
see...
is.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I say, have you let Maximilian know that you've been here before, that you're familiar with this place?
Yeah, you would have mentioned it
Yeah.
on the train.
So you've been here before? Could you visit then?
A associate of an old friend, I suppose. Not the fondest of memories, but Those we all have things we are not exactly happy to recount.
Oh, well, I mean, do you want to visit your acquaintance too? If we're already here?
No. No, I do not believe he would still be here. Was allowed to leave.
All right. So, the Cecil person, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
As you're having this conversation, Maximilian, would you give me a psychology roll, please? And D'Angelo, as the carriage the cab winds its way towards Albrook, and you see this brick building on the edge of the cliffs, the wall around it, and the arched sign above the door. Would you give me a sanity roll, please?
Hi, what did I even do in this situation? Well, that's wonderful.
You the shiver as this place draws closer, as you remember what happened the last time you came here. It is in the caves beneath Albrook that you shot Maddie Carter.
I am
Lose
completely overlooking
1
everything
point
that's
of
happening
sanity
here.
here. Only 1 point, but it's that little moment of you remember what happened last time you were here. You can only hope that this visit ends better than your last. As you pass through the gates, you can the cab driver drops you off. You can see this gravel drive, steps up to the front door. If there's anything you wish to discuss before you go in, feel free to do so.
Well, I'd just assume that the guy's healthy and we'll pretend we take everything at face value that he says, right?
Well, we will see what we can find. I would not recommend assuming much of anything about anyone.
Okay. Well, then we will go and knock.
Gentlemen, welcome to Albrook Sanatorium. Please,
Ooh.
are you here to visit a patient or see one of our doctors?
Visit a patient. Cecil.
Hunter.
Walter. Yeah.
Cecil
Hunter.
Hunter. Yes, I believe he is accepting visitors. Please would you sign your names in our visitor book?
Sure.
Are you
Angel does so as well.
friends or family?
I'd say friends, or more like acquaintances, I guess. I wouldn't, speak to his emotions about our relationship.
Well, just to let you, please follow me, gentlemen. Let you know that due to the non-payment of the initial promised contract, we have had to move Mr. Hunter from our luxury guest wing into the general ward and the general rooms.
I see.
Are you acquainted with Mr. Leiter?
Um,
We've not been able to get in touch with him for the last few days. We have been pursuing him for the last week about non-payment.
How much was owed?
She lists off a fairly reasonable sum. Like, it's quite a lot of money.
Would that be within D'Angelo's, I don't know, cash on hand number? What is that? Is that what that costs? I think it's
Give me a
12.
credit rating roll. Let's see whether you
Cool.
have the cash on hand to pay this.
Well, that's I don't have that much luck, so I do not.
No, you don't have enough on hand. Please, in here. Mr. Hunter, we have 2 visitors to see you. Please be gentle with him. He's going through a difficult time. We would not want to distress any of our impatience. I'm afraid he's not always the most talkative.
Mr. Hunter, how are you today?
She shows you in the room where there's a sort of a pale, thin-faced young man. He's sat in a chair, sort of staring out the window at the sea.
Alright. Is the nurse gonna leave us with him, or?
She withdraws. She's within earshot in case anything goes wrong.
Alright. Mr. Hunter?
Nothing here. It's all in your head.
Mr. Hunter.
Your head. Yes?
We were hoping you could answer a few questions for us.
Questions? Yeah. Can you get me out of here?
Unlikely.
I'm not mad, you know. They keep saying I'm mad. I'm not mad. No, I am mad. It's all in my head. I am mad.
What is all in your head, Mr. Hunter?
The sounds, the noises. It's following me.
What?
Can't you hear it? Scratching at the walls, knocking things over, the lights flickering, it's whispering.
Is it doing that right now?
No, not now. Gone for the time being. But every night in the dark, it's there. It crawled from the pages, and now it's following me.
Did you annoy somebody?
No, I did everything. It's just a job, and I was doing the work, but it crawled out of the pages, and now it's following me.
It crawled out of the pages. Alright. What pages of what book?
The book. There's the man. Book pages on parchment. It was red ink, not red ink. It was blood. But he got me to do the pictures, and then he couldn't do the writing, so he made me do the writing too. And he gave me the pages, and it came wriggling out, and now it's out there. And
Who made you do the
more
writing?
I copied, the more I whispered. The more I copied, the more it whispered to me. The dead man. He's dead. He doesn't know it. Oh, the horned one will have his soul. Yes, he will. Yes, he'll have my soul in the end, and yours probably, and all of ours.
Alright.
He'll have our soul. He'll swallow the world, and the stars will open, and he'll swallow it all.
Based on my understanding of the mind, can I tell if this person is actually insane or if they're just saying things that people don't believe?
Give me a psychology roll, please.
Gonna spend 4 points of luck for that.
He is insane, and he is saying things that people simply won't believe.
¿Por qué no las dos?
He is clearly you're looking at a broken man here. His mind has been shattered, possibly by something he has seen. You've seen things drive people mad before.
Who is this dead man?
Lighter. He's dead. He just doesn't know it. It'll get him too. It'll get me. Then
How would it get you?
it'll come crawling in the darkness, whispering in the shadows, the horror from the pages. It will come.
How does it kill?
I don't know. I'll find out. I'll find out soon.
Alright.
It's out there.
Do you know where the book went?
They stole it. Someone stole it. And Leiter came to get it back and they didn't have it. And he said I'd stolen it, but I hadn't stolen it. And then he sent me here. But I didn't steal it. I don't have it. Someone stole the pages.
I see.
Who stole it?
I don't know. I don't know who has it. Someone stole the pages. It wasn't me.
Hmm.
Someone who Leiter had the book. They knew I was helping him. And they stole it. But it didn't make it go away. It still knows. It's still after me. I don't have the book anymore, and it's still after me. I don't know how to stop it. And it every night it's whispering and crawling and creeping, and it's getting closer, and it.
Did anyone else know about the book, or that you had it?
I don't know. Leiter, he gave it to me. I don't know if Leiter's girl knew that he had it, or if I don't know.
What is her name?
Her name, Marigold. Marigold. That was her name.
Do you have like a surname to that?
No, I saw her once. It was there. Not his wife, no. Doesn't have a wife. She worked at a club.
Do you have a description for us?
It's blonde. She was blonde.
Do I have a blonde marigold in my Pacific Club?
There are several waitresses working at the Pacific Club. I don't know how much would Maximilian be paying attention to them and talking to them. What sort of...
Maximilian talks to everybody all the time and does not stop, so assuming a lot.
Takes you a moment to put it together. There is... Nancy and Sarah and Goldie. They're the waitresses.
Goldie. Alright. I'll make a note of that in my mind and ask her later if her actual name is Marigold. But yeah. Do you have something more?
She'll be dead too now. She saw the book. She was there. Stay away. Stay away from the book. If you go near it, it will see you. It will come for you. It will crawl after you. And it will kill you too.
Well, I think I have some specialists for stuff like that, and they might be able to deal with this. But I'm looking very asking towards D'Angelo.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Hunter. We will see what can be done for you.
Get me out of here. Get the thing away. Please, please.
We will see what can be done.
I think it's time you left Mr. Hunter in peace. Gentlemen? And the nurse ushers you out of the room. Back into the corridor. And as you depart from Cecil Hunter's room, I would like you both to make me a listen check, please.
Do I want to? I hope I failed, so it's fine.
There you go.
D'Angelo, you don't hear anything, but Maximilian, as you step out of the room, you hear a sound. It's not just the distant rushing of the sea or the wind. It's closer, nearer to you. You hear a whisper.
I'm gonna turn around and look right where that came from.
There is nothing there.
I'll try to keep looking and find something in that direction. For like
Something.
a
Nothing.
solid 10 seconds.
My question to you is, after hearing all talk of the last couple of days and hearing Cecil Hunter's talk, do you believe that he's just a madman, or do you believe that there is something horrible following him?
I mean, I just heard something. I am doubtful by now,
Give me a sanity roll, please.
so I'm probably considering it. And that is a fail.
You heard that. You heard something. There really was something. And I'd like you to roll me... Well, actually no, there's no... It's 1 point for the whisper. That's what I did for Mortimer. But as that whisper sends its chill down its spine, realization comes crashing down upon you. This was that final straw, that final slither. That's all the nonsense that the others have been talking, all the things that you have seen out of the corner of your eye, all those conversations you've listened to. It was not fiction. It was not imagination. It's all real. And as this realization hits, you lose a further 5 points of sanity, which is the stocked up sanity loss that you have not been receiving while you did not believe in any of this.
Oh, that's gonna be convenient. Am I gonna roll you a d10 then?
Yes, does that take you below...
I mean, it's 5 at once.
5, that would be an intelligence roll.
Oh, that'd be an intelligence roll then.
Unless it takes you down below your daily limit.
No, it does not.
Okay, an intelligence roll. No, you're not allowed to. You're not able to blank this away. You are fully aware. Roll me a d10, please. As you're stepping through the corridors of Albrook. D'Angelo, you notice that Maximilian has gone a little pale. He stumbles for a second. He's looking behind him at nothing.
Mr. Johnson, are you all right?
Maximilian, and you, amongst all this realization, amongst this knowledge, this thinking fear setting into you, but also with it brings an obsession, an interest, something you must pursue, you must know, you must understand. As I try and find the right chapter in the book, you have acquired a new mania, a new obsession for your character. For now, and it's foremost in your mind as you stumble your way towards the door of Albrook. Give me a moment to think of a good one. For now, you're just a little out of sorts. Well, hopefully you leave Albrook.
All right. Once we are out of earshot, I would say I heard the thing. It's whispering behind him.
What is whispering?
The creature, whatever it is. I heard it. It did not sound like anything that a normal animal makes. It sounded more like, I don't know, odd whispers and sounds. So all the other things, the panther, and all those things. They were all odd stuff. They were all also not like normal.
I didn't hear or experience anything. It's possible that it is a mere joint hallucination and is known to happen. There has been a bit of stress. Hopefully it is something that can be dealt with an evening of rest.
I'm gonna turn over to D'Angelo and give him like an annoyed look and be like, we're having a society for joint hallucinations.
It is best to assume that things are simpler on their first go round.
I need to go to the next tavern before we set ourselves in the train.
Sure.
And I'm gonna fill the tank. Maximum.
So, yeah, you head for a drink back in Brighton before returning on the train. It's going to be probably mid-afternoon by the time you arrive back in London. Is there anything anyone else wishes to have done before that time?
Yeah, I think Mortimer, on receiving the 2 letters about, from the other book dealers and stuff, would have sent word to Mr. Greaves about who had bought the Shakespeare one, and about Mr. Sinclair having been approached on the second book, but he didn't purchase it, but he had been approached about it. And other than that, I think I'll probably spend the morning relaxing. Just if it's a quieter day, you'd probably do some doodling, sketching sort of thing, because if it's a busy day, you'll just do some work.
I want to go to the unconsidered trifles shop
Okay.
by myself.
You unconsidered trifles. It's probably just after lunch by the time you get there, after returning from your painting lesson. Or it could be later in the afternoon if you so choose.
It's fine after the lesson.
Yeah. So yeah, shortly after lunch you call on unconsidered trifles. As you make your way into the shop, there's a little bell as the bell is above the door. I am coming. And you hear the sound of footsteps. Sounds like someone climbing a ladder or something behind the door at the back of the shop. And then the door opens and closes, and Abnerwick steps out into the main shop, carrying with him this strong waft of cologne. Young lady. Oh, have you come alone or with Cynthia? Or are you dressed
Alone.
Alone, yes. And are you dressed in your clothes or?
I am dressed in my
Yes.
clothes.
Young lady. How can I help?
Well, I was wondering if you had any books about mirrors.
Books about well, that's a most curious. I'm afraid this is not a bookshop. I have a small collection of books over in the corner, mostly
right,
of the
but,
older sort.
What about scrying?
Scrying?
Yes.
Budding occultists, are we? Scrying. I believe we had a book about ghosts and mirrors somewhere. Would that be of interest to you?
Yes, actually. Do you mind if I take a look at the other books as well?
Please be my guest. Browse through.
And I will browse.
Alright, give me a library use roll for browsing, please.
apparently I don't find anything.
You don't
But
find anything of particular interest to you. There's books on the occult here, but to your expert eye, these are fairly low level, like hobbyist dabbling books. Even the one about ghosts and mirrors is more full of sensational tales of people having glimpsed, like, their dead grandfather in a mirror across the room.
that's fine. I still want to buy that one because I don't know, maybe it's an anecdotal book. I also want to take a look at any of the things that he has available for sale in the room. Like, does he have mirrors?
There are mirrors. Yes, there are mirrors. There's a couple of hand mirrors. There's full-length mirrors. There are, as I said, there's a full Egyptian mummy case. There are trinkets and artifacts. There is antique weaponry. There are tables. There are lamps. There are vases.
Wonderful. I am going to take a look at the mirrors first, to see if there's anything peculiar about them. Maybe one of the bigger mirrors that might possibly be a match for the one that got melted.
As you're studying over the larger mirror, the mirror itself looks really quite ordinary. But would you mind giving me a listen check, please?
Well, that one's a hard success.
Okay, hard success. As you're examining the mirror, you hear a noise. It sounds like it's coming from below the floorboards. It sounds like... and then a thud. It's very faint, muffled, but it's definitely a noise. And Abner, you see his head sort of tilted. He's clearly heard the sound too. If you would just excuse me one moment, I just need to attend to some other business. Feel free to browse whilst I'm done. And he heads out the door at the back of the shop. You hear the sound of feet on a ladder.
Going down a ladder rather than up?
You can't tell from the sound, really.
All right, well, I do want to snoop a little bit. I want to walk softly, but I just want to also look like, if anybody were to walk into the room, look like I'm just browsing. But I'm trying to head my way towards where he went.
Yeah, you can see at the back of the shop there's just one door leading out of it behind the counter. And as you approach, you hear something else.
Does this sound familiar to me?
Make me a sanity roll, please.
That's a success.
It sounds like something whispering just behind your ear. It's not a voice that's familiar, but Mortimer had described it before. It does sound like the whisper he heard at the house.
I will. I'll look around, but I don't think I see. Do I see anything that might be related to that noise?
No, there's nothing. There's no other people in the room with you. There's the front door and there's the back door that where Abner went.
And if that's not open, I'm not going to open it. I'm not going to risk that.
He closed it behind him.
No. In that case, I will just make note of the fact that I heard something behind the door. I will continue to walk around looking at things. Do I find anything that seems authentic, or is it all just fluff?
Make me an appraise roll, please. I mean, these all appear to be antiques.
Well, that's a fail.
You don't know enough about antiques to know what's truly valuable, what's truly authentic. You don't know.
Okay. Well, I will just hold the Ghosts and Mirrors book. And you said that none of the mirrors matched the mirror at the other house? No.
No, these are a variety of other mirrors, but none are identical to that mirror.
Okay. Then in that case, I'll just wait for him to come back to purchase the book in my hand.
Ah, sorry about that. Rats scurrying around in the basement, all sorts of trouble. Yeah, just that. That'll be shilling 6 months.
Thank you.
A lot for a book. I don't know inflation or pre-decimalization currency.
Don't worry about it.
Shh, nobody does. None of it makes sense.
I see what you did there. In for a penny, in for a pound, right?
Yeah.
All right. And then I'll leave.
Okay.
And I'll go straight back home.
Yes, you leave. You head back to the society. And is there anything else you or anyone else wants to do before D'Angelo and Maximilian arrive back in London? Assuming that D'Angelo and Maximilian are returning to the society, if you want to return to other places first.
We're returning to the society. I might be drunk, but I will return to the society.
Yes. So you arrive back at the society. Elsie would have got back before you. She hadn't gone as far. And Mortimer and John, you can join them there if you wish. By now, it is the late afternoon of the 21st of September.
I'm assuming the letters or the information from Mortimer would have reached Mr. Greaves that morning at some point.
Yes, yeah.
So it'd be up to him what he chooses to do with that.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Go ahead.
We managed to go and visit a Mr. Hunter, Cecil Hunter, who is not doing very well. He seemed to have been asked to copy the book and believes that there is some sort of creature that crawled from its pages and is after him. Unfortunately, I cannot tell how much of what he is saying is genuine and how much is from the adult state of his mind, but he is certainly frightened.
Well, yeah, it does sound as if Mr. Leiter had done the bookbinding himself of the copies and employed Cecil to do the writing up of it. And perhaps the writing up scrambled his brain somewhat, or his mind and sanity. But I do have a bit of good news. I found out who bought the Shakespeare book. One of the book dealers in London had purchased it, a William... What was his name, Kiefer? Sorry?
Maltsby?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the gentleman. Yeah. He bought the Shakespeare book, and Mr. Sinclair had been approached in case of the second book, but didn't purchase it. So at least we know where the Shakespeare went.
Yeah.
I don't know how that is normally dealt with, being that we know it was technically stolen from the King's College Library. I don't know how that'll be dealt with.
Well, going on my past instruction, I imagine I'll just have to go over and march over there and ask him to have it back.
Unless the library could come to some sort of arrangement. I don't know. But, yes. At least we know where that went, so that's more your job and your expertise, and your boss's problem to deal with. Now you know what it is.
Right. I could pass that on to him, let him deal with it.
And yes, that's that problem dealt with. In the manner of the second book, we need to track down to find out what Cecil did with the copy. Any ideas on that?
Well, Mr. Shipley actually did know Cecil. Hunter. Cecil lived in the Red Lion, not too far from Mr. Shipley's studio. And he was acting peculiar the last time that Cecil and Mr. Shipley had drinks. But he said it was because he thought the man was doing unsavory work.
Some artists have to do what they're paid to. You have to get somewhere to pay the bills. So there's a chance the book could still be at his accommodation?
Assuming that the room hasn't been let out to someone else. This happened a couple of weeks ago.
True, but perhaps they wouldn't have just thrown the book away. They might have just passed it on to someone or sold it on, or even left it in the room. The Red Lion. And why is that familiar to me?
Because I name every pub that I can't think of a name of in an instant the Red Lion. It's the John Smith of pubs.
Oh, I know exactly which one. It's not the one in Wapping, is it? Is it?
No, this is a different Red Lion.
That's okay, because the one I know is the one that Quentin Matthews got his heart ripped out his chest in. I actually wrote it down in my notes yesterday when I was writing them up.
You will know I truly haven't prepared a session when it begins with the murder of a man named John Smith at the Red Lion pub.
That's true. But so we could check his accommodation and see if there's any information about his belongings.
You all do not mind. Have any of you been experiencing sounds?
Yes, whisper.
A whisper, perhaps.
Yes.
When I left Mr. Leiter's house, I heard something in the house, and of course there's the matter of the book falling in the middle of the floor.
And today, after my lesson with Mr. Shipley, I actually decided to go to the shop you visited last night, Unconsidered Trifles, and looking for some books to see how authentic some of his stuff is and all that. But I heard mumbling and thumping from I think the basement. And then when Mr. Wick went back down the ladder to the basement, I was left alone, and I heard a whispering in some sort of language. It was right behind my ear. Nobody was with me in the room.
I think that's the same sound I heard in the house. Sounds about it.
All right.
Yeah, and they mentioned something about the creature leaving the book.
They have not, I don't think, said anything about that so far.
D'Angelo did at the beginning.
Oh, D'Angelo did, yes.
That he believed the creature left the book or came out of it when he was on his insane ramblings. That can't be. Does that make sense with Mythos?
You have seen.
I have seen some
many strange things.
It's not impossible to believe that could happen.
No, not at all. It is within the range of things you have come across. Yes.
Miss Smith, do you believe there's someone held captive in that shop? In the basement? Well, the important thing is we'll need to help them. We can check the accommodation quickly. I mean, that shouldn't take too long. I mean, we can ask them about the property and then find out what's going on at that.
I don't think I should be the one to go to police. I think this is a matter that may possibly need to involve the police, considering the last couple of times. Not just last time, but I mean, at the university, and that one really needed to have police involved.
Do Do we need to involve the police at this point?
He
How
seems
would
like
you?
dangerous.
It's just something that whispers in your ear by now, right?
No, I think it
Would
was a
you-
real person in the basement.
As well.
Oh, so it's not the whisper thing.
No, I think there's somebody actually being held in his basement.
Well, we need to help him, but the police, I don't think they'll be much use, to be fair, or helpful, considering how our recent interactions with them. I don't think they'd believe us anyhow. But having said that, once we rescue the person, then we can involve the police, perhaps. We can just...
Do you not have a trustworthy contact?
the only...
Not currently, no.
No, the only contact I can think of is, we think there was, well, Inspector Thorne, but he prefers to keep his hands out of this sort of stuff, just pass it on to be dealt with, and natural causes and things like that.
Well, he also is not very agreeable.
True. There is also a Sergeant Bradley who had seen something some time ago, but I wouldn't want to expose him to too much or getting him into any more trouble. So anyway, we can deal with what we can deal with at the moment, which is check the accommodation and the shop. How does everyone think we should deal with that?
I think we wait until he's asleep, and we kick the door in, and we pull the person out of his cellar. That's probably the easiest way to do it. He might be drunk though, so maybe don't take that for a good advice.
Do any of you have any experience breaking and entering into a location? Successfully.
I fumbled last night quite beautifully.
I can do the breaking thing.
Well, why do we have to break in? We could just walk into the shop.
Oh, you want to do it during the day? When he's alert?
Well, he'll be there.
And possibly somewhat objecting.
Well, I don't think any of us are any good at breaking into anywhere quietly.
Nah, I can loud, but that's it.
I'm just wondering who it could be in the basement then.
Well, let's start by checking that other location first. And
Yeah. Are we sure?
then I suppose we'll have to decide what to do next.
Are we sure the gentleman you spoke with in the shop is actually the shopkeeper?
Keeper? What was the description of the gentleman I spoke with?
A fairly large fellow wearing a large amount of cologne.
It's what we know of, but
50s. It sounded like
He was
both you and the gentleman earlier have a similar description of the man. Yeah.
I think he was the same gentleman from your description last night, but he was wearing quite an immense amount of cologne.
I'm just wondering if he's actually the shop owner or whether the shop owner is the one in the basement. Anyway, that's the scenario first. The first.
I didn't think of that.
maybe he's dead and he's rotting, and that's why he's like putting cologne on it.
Who knows?
The fellow who broke into the house, that you had no involvement in, he didn't have a lot of cologne, did he?
I don't think those two fit. No.
No,
Also,
that was a very tall, broad-shouldered man.
He didn't seem very smart because he didn't see me, and I was squat there right next to the stairs.
Well, let's at least check out the Red Lion first.
Okay, so the plan for next week is to go to Cecil Hunter's rooms at the Red Lion.
Then
And then in the
Then-
night, probably the
the break and entry and the incineration of a property, very likely.
Excellent. Lovely to have a plan. Well, in that case, as plans are made, I think that will be where we leave things off for tonight.